What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome back to another episode of Ben Builds. We are back on the bench with our Team Yankee T-64s. And today, guys, we're going to be finishing off these amazing little tanks. So last episode, we did all the detail painting. That's all good, ready to go. So we only have a couple of steps left, and we are going to go ahead and call these things finished today. We have decals, we have some dry brushing, we have a oil wash I want to do on the tracks, and our flat coat. Now, the decals themselves look pretty decent. We're going to be using our microsol microset combination, of course, like we do for all of our models. I've got my cup for water. We have our microsol and microset. We have our brushes. We are ready to go ahead and put those decals on. Now, these are small little decals, so they might take a little bit of effort to go ahead and get them positioned where they need to be, but I don't know. I'm hopeful. Now, if we look at the decal sheets themselves, we have a whole bunch of numbers, all tactical numbers, and we have two sets of each number, and those are going to go on the right and the left side of the turret. Now we're going to have to do a little bit of work on the left side of the turret because there's two storage bins. We need to go ahead and separate the decals so they fit equally on those storage bins. We're going to go ahead and start off with tank number 200 and work our way to the end. Let's go ahead and get out our scissors and get these things all decaled. Let's do it. So all the decals are on, and we're looking pretty snazzy with those. They turned out to be decent level decals. They went on, didn't have any issue with them. I think they look pretty good. Of course, they have a little bit of a glossiness to them, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and tone that down with a flat coat. Now, I want to go ahead and take some of this Model Air Bright color, and we're going to go ahead and dry brush here with our paint and our paint cup just over all of the models to really highlight the raised surface details. I think it's going to really add a little bit of extra interest. It might look a little bit too blatant, but that's okay. These are wargaming tanks, and it's okay to look a little bit stronger and more pronounced than it would on a scale model. So just a couple of swipes over the top of all the details. That'll make everything kind of pop, give a little bit of color variation, and I think we'll be good to go. Now I'll do this over all 15 tanks of the hulls and the turrets, making sure that we pop all that lovely detail. I'm also going to do the same thing with a little bit of silver on the tracks. As far as I know, these are metal tracks, so I'm thinking that's okay to do. And then we'll go ahead and oil wash over top of that to make sure that it doesn't look too pronounced and too sharp on the tracks. I just want to kind of tone it down a little bit. So just a couple of swipes, I think looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and we'll start on the turret next, and we're just going to do all the hulls and all the turrets. Then we'll see where we go from there. Probably onto the tracks, and we'll be ready to go for the flat coat. As I mentioned before, we went ahead and did a little bit of dry brushing there on the tracks with some silver. I'm going to go ahead and take this oil mixture that I've made here of raw umber with a little bit of plain old airbrush thinner by Testors. We're going to mix it up, and I'm just going to go ahead and coat it onto the outside of the tracks, the inside of the tracks, and along the running gear. I think it's going to go ahead and darken it down. It's going to dull out that bright silver, and I'm hoping blend everything together. After this, really all we have left to do is just a flat coat sealant. And that's going to be pretty easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do these off camera. And nothing fancy, like I said, it's just to tone down some of that brightness on the silver and to give it a little bit of a darkened look and take care of any of these, issues I might have with getting the tracks and the road wheels to look a little dirty. I'm not going to go ahead and dirty it up any more than this. If my friend wants to go ahead and do more, he can. But for right now, I think this is going to be a-okay. Now that all that is done, we're going to go ahead and move on to a flat coat. And this is my custom mixture. It is mostly Winsor Newton flat varnish with a little bit of Future. And I'm going to go ahead and overcoat the entire tank plus the turret. I'm going to do that for all 15 tanks. So let's go ahead and cue up the time lapse, get these things all nicely sealed. All right, everybody, we are finished off with our T-64s, and I gotta tell you, boy, that was a project. So much fun. These model kits were absolutely a joy to build. Super simple. They went together like no one's business. 15 minutes to go ahead and assemble. The real devil, of course, was in the details on the painting. That was where I was really hoping to kind of pull the kits together. And to be honest, I think I did a decent job. So let me go ahead and bring all 15 of them out. Here they are. We are done. And I got to tell you, they actually look pretty decent. The command tanks, of course, have the open hatch. And I really like how the subtle dry brushing has kind of brought out all the little difference in shades and colors. We have the non-command tank as well. They look very similar, but there's just enough subtle variation between the different paint tones that you can tell they're different tanks. I really like how these turned out. And I've never built something in this scale before, nor this numerous amounts. So this has been a lot of really fun kind of learning experience for me. Now, the paint color that I used for that, of course, was the Modern Russian Green set here by Vallejo. Has everything you need to go ahead and paint up Russian armor. And this turned out beautifully. This set was really, really easy to use, had everything I needed in the box, and I think that came out decently. Plus, with a little bit of dry brushing, it really made all the details pop, and I am very happy with how these turned out. Hopefully, my friend digs the end results. So we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today. We have lots of other projects coming up on the bench, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this little project. We'll see you back here on the next episode of Ben Builds. You know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on the next episode of Ben Builds. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.